Hello everyone, my name is Sui Chu. Thank you for tuning into our second podcast following the IFL AMA session on planning your retirement. If you haven't watched the Facebook Live session, you can go to IFL's Facebook page to look out for the recording. Today, we will be talking to our panelist, Arnold Lim, about his retirement planning process, specifically about the insurances in retirement. Arnold will be sharing his experience with us, but please note that nothing in this podcast should be construed as financial advice. Each individual circumstance is different. You are encouraged to talk to a licensed financial advisor if you have any doubts. Please do your own independent due diligence. Now, let us welcome Arnold. Hello, Arnold. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for inviting me to this talk. Yeah.
Arnold, perhaps to get warmed up before we fire questions at you, perhaps you want to share one thing about yourself that no one else would know about. Anything, hopefully not too personal. Yeah?
No. I can share. You see, most people around me, my friends, my contemporaries, they always see me as someone that talk non-stop. I can present at will, and I can speak to strangers. But little do they know, actually, I'm very much an introvert by nature. Actually, given a chance, I would prefer to grab a book and sit at a corner and read the book for the whole day.
Wow, Arnold, if you haven't said it, I wouldn't have believed it. I mean, at the AMA session, you were firing away and talking and so engaged. Little will we know until you tell us.
That's job requirement, right?
Okay, let's get started. At the AMA session, you talked about 3 pillars of retirement: retirement income, housing, and the third one was medical insurance. Can you share with us what kind of medical insurances you have and why are they important in your retirement?
Oh yes, of course. I have a core portfolio of medical insurance. They are this MediShield provided by CPF, but I enhance it with an integrated plan from Great Eastern. This is very important because it covers surgical, hospitalization, and treatment. So this is very critical. Everyone should have that. And the next item in my portfolio is I have a critical illness plan with NTUC income. Gone are the days where cancer means death sentence. Yeah. Actually, many cancer illnesses can be treated, but it's a long drawn process and it can be very expensive. Having a critical illness plan will help you. And the third one that I have is CareShield Life. This pertains to if let's say I'm unfortunately disabled by illnesses and old age, this plan will pay me a monthly amount for the rest of my life. Yeah. So that's the core insurance that I have for my medical portfolio. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Critical illness, a lot of times these are riders attached to whole life insurance policies, right? And we know that whole life insurance policies have cash values and they accrete over time. Do you consider life policies like this to be savings or insurance protection in retirement? I'm sure you have some of these policies.
Oh, yes. Actually, this kind of policy has some flexibility in terms of when you are early part of your career. That is the time where you have long way to go before you retire. Also, the entire period of time is deemed as the most productive period of our life, and that has to be protected. So that is where our earning income is the highest. So that is called insurance protection, where the sum assured is very, very crucial. In fact, everyone wants that to happen, that we want to live to a ripe old age when it comes to retirement. Now, these life policies, most of them will accumulate cash values. And by the time near retirement age, the cash value is actually quite substantial. And that can be deemed as your retirement fund.
Interesting. So I guess you are saying that life insurances follows kind of a life stage. Your protection needs and your income needs varies from the time you're younger all the way to retirement, and you adjust your insurance accordingly to the requirements of your life stage.
That's correct.
Good. Thank you. Now, on the hospitalization plan, you mentioned something called integrated shield plan. You said you enhanced it. Is it important to upgrade to IP on top of MediShield Life? What would you say to our viewers?
Okay. The basic plan is called MediShield, provided by CPF board. That one actually quite adequate for most cases. In general, it covers all illnesses that requires hospitalization, require surgical procedures. Based on that plan, if you're hospitalized or you need any surgical activity, there's no difference in terms of the quality of medical care. Now, but why did I enhance it to an integrated plan? What happened is, if you do that, then you can actually go for some comfort, because under the MediShield, the ward that you can stay in is C and B wards. But if you use the integrated plan, you can actually brings up some comfort if you have to be hospitalization in terms of all the way to ward A, for example, and that gives you some kind of privacy as well. And another thing is, most of the integrated plan do not cap surgical expenses. In other words, surgical procedures are generally claimable as charged with no cap. So these are the benefits that comes with integrated plan with the private insurance.
Thank you. I suppose there is also a trade-off in terms of cost and the cost of the premium, essentially, right? I mean, if you enhanced it, then you have to pay a higher premium, and then the question is affordability versus the type of benefits that you want. It's a trade-off, isn't it, Arnold?
Yes, that's correct. If you buy additional or rather integrated plan from the private insurer, definitely have to pay more. So you have to be mindful of the extra expenses. Now, the good thing is the extra premium that you have to pay, you actually can pay out of your MediSave. Just note one thing though, all medical plans, they will have a deductible and there's a co-insurance component. If you do choose to buy a rider to pay for deductible and co-insurance, this extra premium cannot be claimed for MediSave. So you have to cater for the premium for this rider using your own cash. Just take note of that. Yeah.
Thank you. Arnold, you mentioned just now long-term care insurance. Particularly, you said CareShield Life.
Yes.
Some of us are covered under older plan called Eldershield. Now, if we are on the older plan called Eldershield, should we switch to CareShield Life? What are the advantages of this new plan, CareShield Life?
Good thing you brought this out. Yeah, when this long-term care insurance was introduced, it was actually called Eldershield, and there were two versions. The first version is they only pay up to 5 years. Now, when is it payable? It refers to disability brought about by some kind of illness or old age, and there are 6 defined basic activities, and if the doctors certified that you can't do at least 3 of them, then you are able to claim this payment out of this plan. Now, the first one, the first version, right, Eldershield, you only pay up to 5 years, and this is not very ideal because rarely you can recover from a situation, a disability from illnesses or old age. So the next enhanced plan, Eldershield, actually pay up to 6 years. I don't see address the shortcoming, right? So that's why HealthShield Life was launched. And I would recommend that if you believe in this long-term care insurance, you should upgrade to Eldershield. Yes, granted, you have to pay extra premium for that. But I look at the extra amount, it's actually not much extra. And the entire amount can be paid out of your MediShield. What is the good thing about this CareShield Life? Because it pays for the rest of your life. I think that's very crucial. It pays for the rest of your life, not capped by 5 or 6 years. That's why I strongly believe that this should be the right plan instead of Eldershield. Thank you.
Thanks, Arnold. Good to know. Are there any insurances that we should consider in planning our retirement? For example, how about legacy planning? What are your comments for our viewers, Arnold?
Before I touch on this legacy planning, maybe I cover the first question first, any other insurance. Now, the good thing is in the past, most of the people of certain wealth, they may buy a life insurance to cover them in the event of their passing, to pay for the estate duty. But the good thing is Singapore has waived this estate duty requirement. But if you have assets outside Singapore, then you may still want to consider this approach because many countries still levy estate duty tax. Yeah. And another one is when, in fact, all of us have a mortgage loan outstanding, right? And if you were to buy a mortgage life insurance that covers your life and your spouse in the event of any one of them meet an untimely death, the entire loan will be paid off. This will lighten the pain of the dependents. Yeah. So that should be considered. And if you do have some proprietary kind of business where you have a few partners, then you may also consider a key man insurance. This is to cover each of the key people in the business so that in the event when untimely death, there are any potential losses due to that, this key man insurance can use to cover these losses. And you also can use to pay out the dependents of the person that has passed on. Yeah. So that is some of the insurance that you could consider. Now, legacy planning is very interesting. It's actually is in enhancement of estate planning. Now, estate planning focus on just estate duty and distribution of assets after death, right? But since this is not required anymore, people don't really think about it. But there are a few things to cover under legacy planning. End of life planning, will planning or adjustment to the will towards the end of life. How about healthcare preference? When the elderly is near to the time of passing, they normally need intensive healthcare. And how about palliative care? Who are the caregiver? All these can be planned accordingly. And there's another very important point, loss of mental capacity. While we are still mentally very clear, we can actually set up a lasting power attorney, what they call LPA, right? And this will dictate, you can put in how to manage your healthcare once you lose the ability to of a sound mind, and then what are the expenses they can spend on the cash, the assets to the benefit of you, right? So this is a very crucial kind of planning, right? And of course, upon death, right? How to distribute the wealth, what are the wishes after death, what kind of funeral the person wants, how is it carried out, and things like that. So all these are part of legacy planning.
Thank you, Arnold. Looks like you have covered everything. Now, do you have anything you want to say in conclusion for our audience listening today?
Yes, I do. The main topic, that we are discussing now is actually medical insurance. Now, the medical insurance is a very important plan, but neglected by most people. Why? Because you don't think about it until it comes. And the plan starts when you don't need it. What I'm trying to say is you are only able to buy medical insurance when you're fit to buy. That means medically you are healthy. And when you are healthiest, when you are young. So in other words, you have to plan your medical insurance when you are young and able, when you are at your most healthy stage of your life. So that when you lose this health, eventually as you age or as you grow older towards retirement, you have it when you need it. So please remember, right, whatever you plan, medical insurance has to be part of your portfolio. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnold. Thank you for sharing with us candidly, and thank you for your views and comments. You have been listening to a podcast on planning your retirement, brought to you by IFL, Institute for Financial Literacy, a collaboration between Money Sense and Singapore Polytechnic. IFL provide free and unbiased financial education to members of the public. You can follow or like us on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, or visit our website at ifl.org.sg. Stay tuned for the next podcast, and I wish you all a good day, stay safe, and remain healthy. Bye.
Bye-bye.